Hello, a very good evening. A warm welcome from IELTSMaterial.com. Today, we are going to learn about line graph vocabulary in Academic Task 1. This is Sakshi Thakur, your IELTS expert. And today is day 13 of the Question of the Day series, in which we take one question typed from each module, solve them together with the expert tips, tricks, and strategies. So I'm sure you have followed our previous sessions and benefited from them. So why don't you tell me who all are present for today's session? How's your preparation going? And for those who have joined us today for the first time, make sure that you subscribe to our channel so that when we go live every evening at 6 p.m., you get the notification and you join us for the insightful session together. So hurry and subscribe. A very good evening, Rahul. How are you? Let me know who all are here. I'm so excited to meet all of you. We're going to do lots of writing practice today. All right, let's get started. I'm sure you're all energized, ready with your notepad and the pen, as we will get the ball rolling now. So line graph vocabulary is the key focus of our session today. So we are going to understand what's the vocabulary specific to this particular writing task. And of course, we will explore more nitty-gritties. Hi, Aru. Very good evening. Hi, Divya. Great to know, Rahul. Make sure that you stay tuned throughout the session and also the upcoming sessions so that you can kickstart your IELTS preparation with greater confidence. So let's do a quick revision of the several criteria important for evaluation of your writing task. Number 1, task achievement. Have you written the content well? Have you followed the question instruction well or not? That's the question. Number 2, coherence and cohesion. Is there a logical flow of ideas? Have you used the linking words properly? That's what we have to think here. Number 3, lexical resources. Are you good at showing the range of vocabulary without any repetition of words? That's how your lexical resource is tested. Last but not the least, grammar. Grammar specifically, you have to be correct with your tenses, and you should have the ability to form compound and complex sentences, and of course have minimum number of grammatical mistakes. So that's all we are going to make sure we incorporate in our writing task and get a band 9. Let's move ahead. So this is how your line graph looks like. Let's see what are the elements here. So you see here we have a horizontal axis. It is also known as time graph, by the way. So here you can see the time period, specifically the years. And here you can see on the vertical axis, some data, some numbers. So let's see the question. So this graph shows the price changes in these products, which you see. This is very important to note, right? And you have to do this report description and make proper comparisons and write the main features. So we'll learn step by step. So this is the basic structure, right? We begin with an introduction in which we just paraphrase the question. That is, use the synonyms. We have already discussed before how we do paraphrasing. Then we go ahead with the overview in which we only highlight the overall print, the main features, followed by body paragraphs. So your subsequent paragraphs will contain the detailed features, data, percentage, everything. So yes, we are going to learn the breakdown very soon. Hi, Kuldeep. Great to know you have joined us for the first time. Make sure that you stay tuned till the whole session. I'm sure you're going to learn a lot today, and make sure you actively participate with me. So now let's understand the specific vocabulary. These are the 3 things which we are going to take care of. First, let's understand the different trends that we display in the line graph. and the manner of showing those trends for which we are going to use the adjectives and the adverbs. Let's learn one by one. So majorly there are 4 trends. Number 1, we always show the rise. So your line will go up like this. This is your rise. A very good evening, Harpreet. Then we show the fall, right? It goes down like this. The third trend would be stability, constant, no fluctuation. So that would be a linear graph. Then the fourth trend would be fluctuation, right? So this is fluctuating. So these are mainly the 4 trends. But of course, this is incomplete. We need more words to describe this. So let's understand. So we need adjectives, adverbs, and also the synonyms to enhance your writing. We must ensure that we cannot repeat the same word. You cannot keep using the word increase in every paragraph. No, we are going to use the relevant synonyms. For rise, jump, rocket, go up. For downward trend, drop, decline, go down, etc. But it's also important to show how they are rising, how they are decreasing, right? So for that, we need adverbs and adjectives. So if it rises slowly, then this is your word, slightly and slowly. It could be gradually, it could be significantly, it could be rapidly, if you see a quick rise. And of course, this is for your constant graph. So make sure that you take care of these synonyms. Now let's learn one more thing. How do we differentiate between adjective and the adverb? So in the first sentence, you will see a sharp rise. This is adjective plus noun. So you can write it in this manner, or number 2. This is your verb and this is your adverb, right? So you can show in this manner or the other way. They both are correct. So you should definitely try to show variation. And of course, you will score more in the lexical resources. So I hope you have been following us. Let me know if you're understanding what I have taught so far. Let's see some more examples. So there was a substantial increase. House prices rose dramatically, fell sharply, rose gradually. This is adjective plus noun, a sharp increase, risen steadily. So we have to ensure to use these collocations, right? Natural combination of words in your graph vocabulary. So we still have a lot to learn. I'm sure you're all making notes. Let's learn some of the more important vocabulary expressions. Of course, it is not just limited to 4 trends. There are more. Let's learn. So for rise, you can say it shows an upward trend. For downward, you can always say showed a downward trend. Sometimes you will also see the highest point or the peak. So for that, you can write the highest point or peak or the lowest point. Of course, there's fluctuation on one hand and stability on the other. So stable, static, unchanged, constant. So many words. Sometimes it will be level. So this way you can describe. So make sure that you also follow these examples just to get an idea how to implement these vocabulary. For example, sales of ice cream flattened out toward the end of the period. Now let's see the third example. Car export figures hit the lowest point in 2014. So these are some of the important expressions. So have you been following us? What we have learned so far? Let me know in the chat section. Now let's see visually how it actually works. So you can see how it is rising gradually. Then here there's a decrease, right? Then here you can see how it is becoming stable or leveled off. And then the decline, slight decline, not very sharp. So synonyms are important. So I hope you have understood this so far. Let's learn more. Of course, apart from showing all these trends, we also have to describe the time, right? So for this, these prepositions are useful to describe the time period, the dates, the years. So let's see how to use them. So you can describe the month, the year, from 2001 to 2010, by 1998, between, over a 10-year period. So instead of writing from 2000 to 2010, you can simply write over a 10-year period. So this way, we will combine our trend words with the prepositions of time. So please have a look at the slide before we move ahead. All right, so we have understood the trends, the manner of showing the trends using adverbs and adjectives, and the prepositions of time. So this is the graph that we are going to deal with today. So let's have a look at the question. So here, as you can see, we have years on the horizontal axis and the price changes on the vertical axis with 4 items, as you can see: fruits and vegetables, sugar and sweets, consumer pricing, carbonated drinking. So now let's do a breakdown. Let's do a step-by-step practice of each of the structure. Now that we know the vocabulary, of course, I will still help you in between how to write the sentence structures with appropriate vocabulary. So your writing practice begins now. We are going to start with the introduction. So you are only going to paraphrase the introduction. What do we mean by that? Using synonyms to convey the same meaning. Okay, the words are changed, but the meaning is the same. So let me know in the comment section below, how would you write your introduction? Let's practice. So make sure that even if you write what the graph is all about, you should use the relevant synonyms. What is it talking about? Price changes. What are the other items? We should make note of that. And of course, the time period. This is all that comes in introduction. That's it. So let's see who's able to solve it correctly. And make sure that your sentences are also grammatically correct. So let me show you first, how to write the introduction, then we'll move on to the overview. Let's learn step by step. So the graph below shows relative price changes. The line graph provides information about changes in the price. You see how we have paraphrased here? So this is part 1. Number 2. Now, instead of describing all the items, what are we doing? We are saying different food product groups. 3, right? So in this time period, and we have simultaneously mentioned about a consumer price index over 30 years. So you can see we have not copied the question entirely. So this is how you do your introduction. So I hope you have understood this. Now let's move on to the next step, overview. So now what do we do in overview and how is it different from body paragraphs? In overview, we only talk about the main features, the overall trend. Make sure that you do not write any data, figures, percentage, years, or anything. You can talk about a general trends like the increase or the decrease, the highest point or the lowest point. So this way, how you can write the overview. So keep writing and I'll get back to you if you have written it correctly or not. So make sure that you do not include any data which are included here on the x-axis and the y-axis. So, let's try to understand it better now. So you can always begin your overview by actually beginning with the word overall. So what have we written? We have mentioned how the prices have increased for the food products, right? And of course, you can see some fluctuations. And at a glance, you can see the comparison, right? For the fruits and vegetables are significantly higher than consumer price. So what have we mentioned here? We have only talked about the increase. And number two, we have done a short comparison. That's it. That's all that is part of your overview. No details as such. So we will keep this in mind. So someone has asked, do we write a conclusion? No, we don't. Conclusion forms part of your essay only, not in your writing task 1. So this is the overview. And of course, we are also showing the comparison and the contrast of the different trends. Now for that, you do need some linking words. So this way, we can show comparison, similarly, in the same way, and for contrast, on the contrary, however, on the other hand. And of course, there are more expressions that we should use. Hi, Kavya, how are you? We are soon going to write body paragraphs, so make sure that you're ready with your answer. So this is how we can implement it in the sentence. It's very important that you just don't talk about the trends, but actually show a lot of similarities, comparisons, contrasts that will give you better score in the task response. So majority of Australians spend their holiday abroad. On the other hand, Italians opted for staying in the country. Now, for similarly, majority of Spanish people prefer to holiday at home. Similarly, comma, the Italians prefer to holiday at home too, right? So make sure that we use such kind of structures. Also, we can make use of comparative and superlative adjectives. What is the highest, or something is higher than the other. So the word than will help you to compare. So we can also use such sentence structures to show comparison, So make sure that we also implement the same and show comparisons and contrasts in our overview and body paragraphs. And of course, if you need more practice, personal roadmap, and doubt clearing sessions, make sure to book our free demo live class, and you'll find the link in the description box given below. So it will be a feather to the cap of your training. So hurry and book a free demo with us. Now let's head to the body paragraphs. So now here, what are we going to do? Now it's the time to cover the main features with the relevant data, statistics, everything. So you can highlight, let's say 4 to 5 features. You don't have to mention about everything. You don't want your writing task 1 to be more than, let's say 200 words, 150 words minimum. And of course, you can write till 200, but you don't want to waste a lot of time because you have to write an extensive essay, right? Which we will surely discuss very soon in our upcoming sessions. So let's understand some of the main features with the help of the graph and how to describe it with the vocabulary that we have just learned. So now here, what have we written? We are talking about the consumer price index, right? And showing the similar trend with the fruits and vegetables, sugar and sweets, or carbonated drinks. That's what we have to see. So consumer price index rose steadily from, so let's find consumer pricing, right? This is it. So it rose steadily from 1979 to over 200 in 2009, right? So this is 200. Now you can, write similar trends in one para and you can write the other trends in the second para. That's one option. You can, write about individual trends and make sure that you also do some comparison or contrast between the trends. So for example, here, consumer price index and sugar and sweets are being compared. Now here we have done another contrast, right? So sugar and sweets, this figure is higher than the carbonated drinks. That's 150. So this way you can show the contrast. Prices rose sharply for fruits and vegetables after 1989 here, right? So we can see how it rose sharply, and then it finished at 330 in 2009, right? So this is how we are going to describe as many trends as possible, show some similarities or contrast, and use the correct vocabulary. Make sure that you try to write at least 2 body paragraphs, and definitely it will help you to achieve 7th band and above. Of course, that will come with, constant practice. So I hope you have understood the structure, the vocabulary, and how to actually go about this particular line graph. So this is how your overall paragraph would look like with the appropriate introduction, overview, and body paragraphs, the appropriate vocabulary, data, and the figures. So make sure that you also check out what we have learned today. And for that, you will get the link for the same in the description box below. Make sure that you book a free demo live class with us so that you can decide how it goes like for you before you enroll into the courses. And if you find this video useful, make sure that you drop a like and a comment below. Of course, you can also mention your doubts and we will surely get back to you, and share it with your friends who are also preparing for IELTS. So we are going to meet tomorrow with yet another content and a super interactive session and learn something new. So be ready to kickstart your IELTS preparation and stay tuned throughout the end. So we will see each other again tomorrow at the same time at 6 p.m.